Well, welcome back to lecture 5. Uh, I'm sorry I was not here in lab 4, and it looks like you guys still had a lot of problems with lab 4. Was it correct? Who thought lab 4 was easy? No? Raise your hand. So let's recap a little bit. Because there's no more homework, so what we did here is that you get to implement something very similar to the lecture. Is that right? And we get to review. If you have problems with lab 4 and one of you were not here, please do it by yourself because it's very important. In lab 4, right after class, I also share this recap. So as you see, by now you should understand nested resources very well, understand how to declare the relationship very well, understand how to use form, but now with the fields for attribute. If you don't know, you can go into the Rails guide or read this and you can ask any question related to this guide. So I explained that if you have the accept nested attribute for, this will convert to messages attributes. Can you nod your head if you understand that? If you just do fields for messages normally, right? Rails just put all this username and anything under room messages like this. If you use fields for messages, but with accept nested attributes for, Rails will understand and provide it convert into these messages attributes. So when you submit in the controller, room params here, and you whitelist this guy, permit, it will be able to save from parent to children. Yeah? There's one gotcha, which is you have to do a inverse relationship, right? So something like that. You can do, what's that? Inverse of message. Is that right? It has room. And then when you save message, it will be able to remember the room parent attribute. It's quite silly. Rails require that, but we'll do it anyway. From last week, it's exciting. Now you know how to use the Rails inspector console. I asked you guys to do JavaScript exercises if you were not sure. So anyway, back into this lab. The goal is that you can follow at least to milestone 5 easily because everything is taught in class. But I think, who got to milestone 5? Did anyone try? So if you're still not sure, it's a good lab for you to test. Okay, until this point, it looks easy, right? Current user, login, logout. By now you know, right? We don't save it to a user table, so there's a session username here. It's quite simple. But back to lecture note here. I believe I give you guys all the code needed here. Okay, final code, starter code, and the diff. You can click on this and you can see all the code implemented. Okay. Now that's very important to get here. And the code includes milestone 4 and 5 as well. So in the old days, before WebSocket was invented, was agreed on, we have something that's only HTTP, and I'll explain more later. But from last time, I explained that what if you can, just write JavaScript and pull changes from the server. You can write a function, and then you just reload that. Every time you want to reload, just call that function. So let's say I want to load the JSON path. So for example, my path is localhost room messages. It displays the messages there, and then you can render you can update the view without refreshing the page. You can use JSON, which provides you data, or you can use JS, which provides you JavaScript you can run. Understand the two formats. So we understand HTML, JS, and JSON. Is it too bright? Should we turn off the light? Can someone else help me turn off the light? Okay, what I was hoping, that was the first time I missed class. I let you guys do the lab by yourself. Is that you try this. So what is it? Rails provide, since Rails 5, they provide an abstraction which open a new type of connection between the client and the server. So look at this diagram. Normally, you have the browser, which is the client, talk to the server. But the server, there are two layers here. There's a rack and Rails. So we can learn about rack more. Right now, just think about this as Rails server, right? HTTP, is it a one-way connection or is it a two-way connection? It's a, so two-way means I talk to you, you talk to me. Okay, good. I purposely asked a very stupid question like that. It's a request response kind of connection. So imagine your telephone line. I pick up the phone, I call you. When I talk, you can hear me. When you talk, I can hear you. When we talk at the same time, both of us can hear each other, right? Can we do the same with HTTP? No, I have to finish talking and then you're like, oh, okay, then you get back to me. There are some implementations that allow a little bit like simultaneous talking. For example, I send a request and you don't have to finish receiving the request. You can still receive more requests, but all of that is just variation. The design of HTTP is request response. Each time I initiate a request response cycle, it opens normally this is the TCP protocol. So it opens a connection and data is sent over. Okay, TCP actually double check the quality and the integrity of the data. Make sure you send the right thing. There are other protocol like UDP, right, which doesn't check, which is faster. Now, back to this. HTTP uses TCP underneath, but when it's done with the connection, then it closes, right? It finished, and then you can send many. So we want to keep the request response cycle very short. Okay, so I will write the note for you guys in at the end. It will read like this. It's a lot to read. Let me open lecture 5. So imagine HTTP days, okay? Polling. So if you need update to a page, you need to send HTTP request. If you send in Ajax, it's still HTTP, right? JavaScript, get JSON or .ajax or .get. So jQuery gives you a .ajax method, but there are some other names you can use like get JSON or get script. Get script is getting JavaScript. Anyway, the browser can send HTTP request, let's say every second or every 5 seconds, right? And immediately receive a response. So the server has to design very short responses. We did that last week. Make sense? Long polling. What if the browser sent one request, right? But it's hey, then the browser, there's a worker, right, in the server. Oh, you talking to me? All right, just hold on. Whenever I have something, I will, So you keep the request for like 10 seconds, just one request, and then the server will be like, okay, if there's anything, I'll send back to you, and then request close. Okay, so what's good? You send fewer requests. What's bad? It's very hard to scale because each request is blocking, right? And then the streaming, you keep the request for longer, but You just keep it there. It's just not closed. So then the browser will just keep it open, but anything just, any changes, the browser send back. The problem is that between the client and the server, there are things in between like proxy server, firewalls, and all that. And then an HTTP request always contain headers and all this, authentication, authorization, and all this like encoding. So lots of stuff. So there's a lot of overhead. So what we learned today is WebSocket. So WebSocket, it's just like HTTP. It's a protocol, but it directly just use one TCP connection. Open the connection, and it's designed to be just like your telephone line. When two people pick up the line, then anything anyone say will be heard, right? Now, if you as a third person join my conference call, everything is heard as well, right? So it's very similar. And after they design that, and so because two ways can hear each other simultaneously, then you have this called duplex, full duplex, right? You have half duplex, it means only one side can hear the other, and then vice versa. Now, since eventually, just a couple of years ago, HTML5 agreed, there's a WebSocket API. Before that, HTML, there was no, JavaScript couldn't provide this because the DOM API, right? Like all this stuff on the browser did not support it. So how did people do it? Over socket. They use Flash, right? You can open socket using Flash because Flash supported it. But now we don't need Flash anymore. So then services using JavaScript, the browser support, but not all browsers agree on the same function names. Right? That's why you have services like Pusher, it's called Pusher app back in the days. Pusher now, they write JavaScript and they just provide the socket interface for you. But now, because HTML5 is quite widespread, it's not fully complete, but we all can use it easily now. So this week you have to learn both the JavaScript way, how to call WebSocket functions, and then the Rails way, how Ruby accepts WebSocket communication messages. Okay? So if you compare with HTTP, right, it's different. It's one connection is just lasting until one person disconnect, and it's just there. Now you can send any update you want. So there's one connection per browser, per server, right? Well, I mean, if I load the browser, I want to open more than one connection. That may be possible. There's no need. I can open one connection, and inside the connection, I can have different channels. Just like between your Rails server and the browser, you can send back over different routes that go to different controller. WebSocket goes through different channels. Okay, it's still, obviously it's very hard to remember, but I explain this first and then we do live coding. So at home, feel free to go here and read, if you like reading the docs, and that's a very good habit. Feel free to, check it out. So let me explain the WebSocket terminology. You have to think about three things: server side, client side, and the interaction between the two. So think about a relationship, okay? Server, you have something called a connection. Oh, obviously, you open a connection between a client and server. And so there's an object called connection. It's like that. Okay, so in your code, we'll see this. In this connection, it will only deal with, it just check, you can check maybe cookies, or there's any variables. That's it. Don't do anything complicated. Okay? And its connection, you can create multiple clients and each client, we will call that a consumer in the WebSocket world. It's a consumer. Consumer, receive your stuff, so they're a consumer. Now, a channel is inside, this connection, so you can have multiple channels. Every time you need to deal with something, you can generate a new channel code, like Rails generate channel. Let's say a chat channel. Or if you want to name it very similar to your messages controller, then you call it messages channel. So we call it chat channel here, but then when we implement it, I'll just use messages channel. It's up to you. Okay, so a channel is the server side that dealing with receiving client. So this channel on the server, right? There's a method, let's say subscribed. So every time a channel, a browser opens up, talk to the server, it will run the code in here, right? Okay. Obviously, this is still a little vague. So remember, server, there's connection and channel. In client side, we also have connection, and we set it up once. So you will see this cable.js file is very simple in your Rails app. There's obviously action cable wrapper, like just all this JavaScript that Rails provide, make things easier, okay? And then it also load all the code in the channels, all the JavaScript files. These are client-side channels code. And then here, just very basic JavaScript that define an app variable. So when you go to the website, you can have open the console, the inspector console. You can type app and you can see this object. Okay. Each time the browser open, then you just basically now we set up. You only run it for your browser here, right? Create consumer. So create consumer means just creating a client for the connection. So a lot of names, weird, but you get used to it soon. So subscriber is that we in our channel, in each channel, we subscribe to a channel. So our consumer is now called a subscriber. So for now, just imagine like this. Oh, if I need to track who's online, not online, the browser now subscribe to this appearance channel. There's no argument. Or if you go to a chat room, you subscribe to a chat channel, but you need to say what room it is. So you only receive the messages in that channel. Okay. Keep thinking about that. If you have questions now, you can ask. But don't worry if all of this doesn't make sense yet. It should make more sense if you did this milestone, but unfortunately you didn't. So if that was the dirty way to get chatting working very fast, but this is the proper way. Okay, so the third thing, I'd say there are three things, right? Server, client, and the third one? Between them, right? Interaction. So the interaction, it's you subscribe to a channel, and in that channel, it defines the stream. You're like, what? How many names do I have to remember? All right. So just know that there's also something called stream. So you can, this is a stream name, and it's just more specific. Imagine messages channel is like messages controller, right? But then let's say when you go to the post, let's say a blog website, okay? Go to the post controller. You need to find by ID, right? And then you display the comments for that post. In this case, you can actually you get the data from just that post, from the post channel for a post. Or you can even be more specific, comments, replying to the comments. So just remember that we can define some stream stuff. We'll do it today. Okay. And interaction. So interaction is done over stream. So you can say any channel, but you can say each channel can stream 0 or 1 more, these streams thing. So it's called broadcasting. Broadcasting is a stream between a channel and the subscribers. What's a subscriber? Client side. Yeah, subscriber is like, let's say Tim opens the browser, and then on my app there's a chat channel and appearance channel. So Tim has 2 subscribers, right? But his chat channel subscriber will get the broadcasting from this chat channel stream. Okay, let's see how much crazy stuff you can listen, and then we can code it together. You don't have to remember how to call this right now. Just explaining, it's possible to broadcast like this, broadcast to, you know, subscribers to a post, subscriber to a user, and then you can pass custom data. Okay, but don't worry about this one. Just understand there's interaction, there's stream, and then there's broadcasting. Broadcasting just means how many stream is giving out to the subscribers. Okay, subscriptions. Oh, so there's what we have again: connection channel, connection subscriber. So in here is all the words that is between A and B. Broadcasting is between channel and subscriber, right? Subscription is also between channel and subscriber. So it's just called like that. If you design your Rails, you know, let's say membership app, right? You have subscriber, and then you have the product, and then you have a subscription model. It will have a subscriber ID and the product ID, right? Yeah, something like that. So a subscription defines the code you want to run, JavaScript. Code you want to run when an event happens. So this is now event based, because there's only one connection. There's no, you know, it start once, so it's called like, you know, connected, and then there's it finish when you close the tab or you log out. So there's a disconnected, and then in between you can receive data. So that's why there's a lot more function, but you will see received data like this. Okay, now how do you broadcast? So the word is broadcast. So let's say I have a web server right now. Tim access it, okay? And then Kwon access it again. When Kwon comes, what should I do with the chat server, right? I need to show who's online, who's offline. What should I do? I should tell Tim, right? So I have a WebSocket connection here. So there are 2 ways. I can write the code on Kwon's browser, JavaScript, to say broadcast to everyone who's connected to the server. Or I can let Kwon talk to me, and then the server say broadcast to everyone. Also go back to Kwon. When I broadcast, Kwon also received the message. Tim received the message. You guys you all received the message, right? So that's streaming. Why is it called stream? And then after I stream this data, and then Nam log in, will he see the data? No, it's too late. He missed the goal. I just stream it, right? So just stream, it just come and go like this, right? The way we scale it is when you send the server a message, I put in a queue, you send me, I put in a queue, and then I just send out to all those who are looking at my queue. So you are subscribing, right? So I send you guys the messages because you're subscribed to it. All right, so that's why here broadcast from the server side. You can send a broadcast to the stream name, and you can send data. So imagine the code here, the server receive any data. Receive, where's it from? From one client, just any one of you who send data to the server will receive it, and the server will say, well, I'm gonna broadcast back to everyone else. So that's, if you see chat channel in Ruby code, remember that's server receiving data. Make sense? If you see this side, this is JavaScript side. I receive. Over here, I can, when I receive data, I can also say, remember this app.chatchannel.send. I can send this. And I don't need to tell people what name it is because it's already inside, so I just need to send the data, something like that. Yeah, so maybe data is to pass in the data. It's just always send a hash like that.
What is that? Send.
Dot send.
Yeah.
So this is like broadcast. So this right now, if you do dot send like this from, you can code this in the console, the Chrome console, right, or Safari or Firefox. You say dot send, it will send to all the other guys. So how does it work? All right, let's do the walkthrough. Okay, so I have the code here, push to GitHub. I changed a little bit from last time, so it hopefully looks a little cleaner. Oh, I thought, oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, it's fine. Update Puma. Let's run the Rails server. Now, on the browser, you can, at the end of the lecture, you guys will see it. I'm gonna click here and say if I compare with lecture 4 end. Okay, I've done a few things. Okay, so I add something called appearance channel to track who log in and who log out, so I can see who's online. So in a channel, you see connected, disconnected, received, and any helper, some other function here. I call this function in the other methods. So I add, let's see what else I add. I style the channel stuff you don't know yet, so don't worry. I provide a way to identify current user, which I will explain very soon. But just understand that, oh, it's under action cable connection. I can get current user. Just like your application controller, right? And what I do is I also add a user model now. Compared to last time we saved user to the session, right? So you can see the code differences here before we start. I created that so it's just easier to demonstrate. All right, you guys have laptops with you? Oh, this is bad. Look at this. Oh, okay, we have the server. I'm going to run Rails server. I bind to this one. This is the syntax, so I open up my port. And now if I run, let's see, I check my IP address. So if you guys can type, you can visit this website, okay? 192.168. Let me just paste that on your Ruby server. 3,000. Can you visit it? Yeah? Okay, so let's do something, right? Go into public. And now I'm gonna sign in as, I'm gonna be Harley. All right. So people, go and send some messages. Okay. All right. Look at these guys. You guys are coming in. I'm doing nothing. Yeah. You guys are sending some messages, but I don't see it. So what we're going to do is we implement this view so that it updates. Okay. So if I refresh this now, you see these messages, right? Over here it works. All right, some of you are having fun, right? So let's implement our message stuff so it actually works. let's look at how this works. If I type hello here, and I press create message. Are you sleepy? You wanna stand up? You look tired, so you okay? Okay, you get. So let's look at the messages controller. Okay. Oops. So messages controller. When I type this hello and I press create message, okay, what happens? I get the room. Okay, so it's gonna be a little hard to see here. Create message. Okay, whoa. It posts to messages inside room. We already know that. We get the content, so this is a post, okay? And then it render with create.js, right? This one. So if I change it so we always see the latest message at the top. If I can save message, then I add it to the top. So this hello is added to the top, right? And then I clear the message. And if I could not save it, then I just provide an error, right? So this case doesn't show because I don't even allow you to submit an empty message using HTML5 stuff, right? Okay, so how can we make this update? How can we make this update when you submit, not me? All right, let's create that kind of connection, right? So what we do is we Rails generate channel. We call a messages channel. Are you ready? Messages channel. Uh-oh. Rails generate channel messages. Now, how does WebSocket work? Let me pause a second and explain. When you look into the log, you see this get/cable, and then it goes to same IP address, but it's not HTTP://. What is it? Protocol is WS://WebSocket or WSS Web Secure Socket. And what happens is it first treated like an HTTP request, and then it upgrade to a WebSocket. So, okay, and it will display this message. So that's all you need to know. So if I go to localhost/cable, say keep it here, and I go /cable, it will just visit the cable, and then it cannot upgrade. So it's a page not found. All right, fail to upgrade over here. It's just not designed for it, so it's just non-socket. So how does that recognize the path? We need to do this. We add mount action cable server. So it's like a separate layer, right? It's a separate app. It's mounted on /cable. So when you go to /cable, it is a separate, right? It's a separate, it's like a separate server receiving your stuff, but it's just a WebSocket server. When I do Rails server now, it runs both. Why? There's a setting. Setting in cable YAML. This setting say adapter async, so it means both requests going to the Rails server. Rails will handle both. That's very easy for us. But in production, you have to separate it out. You need a Redis server, which is a key value store, right? Database, but also works as a server. And then it will send It just receive and release messages. Redis has ability to do what is called pub/sub. It means you can subscribe to information under a stream name. So I have it under async here. Okay. So if you read documentation, sometimes you may have like there's a way to run the cable. I forgot how to run that, but now these guys are running, together under async here. Okay. So I have /cable. Let's look at the files I have. Rails generate messages. I have message. This is client side or server side? Client side. This is server side. Let's look at the code. So you see, we are identical here. We already have this file, cable.js. You guys saw earlier. Cable.js, create this app cable. What is it? If you open this, I have an app name like that, and there's a cable consumer set up for this. And the code is all written for you. It's connected to WebSocket in the protocol. Go to this URL /cable. When you push to Heroku, you have to tell it where to go because it doesn't know, right? It will switch to WS and WSS, depending on your Heroku, whether it's HTTPS or HTTP. Okay, so it does automatically know these days, but you have to allow it. You have to force it to allow the URL. It doesn't want you to connect to any random WebSocket server. Not safe, right? To keep this connection open. Okay, remember the two files? Let's look at the server file first. Channel. I have a messages channel. When you create one, it's just like that. Subscribe and unsubscribe. So what happened? You need to clean up when a channel is not subscribed. And then when you subscribe, you can say, hey, I'm subscribed. I want to receive anything related to, something here. So I can say stream from chat room, right? What I really want is like, stream from room ID, right? Room public or something. So I just say stream from room for now, okay? So it means I receive messages every time. You in any room, if you send a request, I will get it. All right, let's look at it's very easy to get it wrong. App, I said JavaScript channels, messages. Here's the code. Okay. Unfortunately, using JavaScript is a little tricky. I think for this app, I disable CoffeeScript. But if you have CoffeeScript, if you learn CoffeeScript, it's a lot easier to write because of the way we call the function. Just if you learn of CoffeeScript, your life is easier. You see, what I'm doing here is app messages it's a new subscription, right? Subscription now is created to this channel. So the first argument, you can pass in the string of the channel, or you can pass in there an object that say what channel it is, and then any extra argument. So you can actually do this. This first argument, you can say channel is messages, and then you can pass in extra data such as room ID is 123, for example. Then you pass this room ID to in here you can say room ID. Okay, so but for now I don't care about that. I just keep the default messages channel. Okay, so in here let's do something console.log, and I say in app.messages, right? Maybe in connected. That sounds good, right? App messages connected, disconnected, and then I say I receive data. So console.log is very nice. You can pass in as many arguments as you want. Okay, so what if I write that? I'm going to go to channel appearance, and I comment out all the console.log here. so that you guys, it's not too noisy on your machine. Okay. All right, let me reload this. Obviously, I stopped the server. Let's run the server. Refresh, everyone refresh your browser because you have my old JavaScript. All right. We're still waiting, huh? Takes a long time. Uh-oh. I think it just, did it change the IP address? Oh, I forgot to bind it. So it's a security feature. It doesn't let you access from outside. So in older Rails, it allows you, but from Rails 4, it doesn't. All right, you see this, guys? Connected. Do you see it over there? You see it connected on your console?
Yes.
Yeah? What if I say app.messages.send? I can do anything really. I don't know if this works or not. Let's see. Do you guys see anything? No? Okay, so we're not there yet. I want to send, but it has to go back to the server. So let's do it now. In my app channel messages here. So I will implement a method. Okay, we go through down here, right? Okay, so these are the notes I will complete afterwards. So I'm not done yet. So let me just minimize this. Okay, let's think about how we can send messages from their from the client to the server. So you have received data. So we need a way to send, right? So let's see. This is the harder one, the appearance one. Let me look it up real quick. So what if I can say a broadcast? So let's broadcast something. Say hi. And I will broadcast to room. And I say hello. Okay. So that's say hi. And then I refresh. The server restarted. That's why you see Rails say reload the code, so it disconnected. So now it's connected again. From this guy, app.messages. Do you guys get this?
Yeah. Yeah.
On your browser?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a method perform, and then this is the name of the method you can call. So the subscribe, unsubscribe. But from here I can do a few things. So imagine if I press create. So let's go to a room. If I create message here. If I create message, where should it go? Normally it goes to controller, right? Yeah? And goes to Rails controller, and Rails controller can say broadcast to everyone.
So it should go to the channel.
So
Action.
technically you could write it. So in the lab I show you the dirty way, which is go to the controller, and down here you can say broadcast to everyone. But that's a lot of code. I assume that's a lot of processing. I say channel is similar to controller. Let's go straight to the channel. So what if I say there's here something called def create message, and you can actually call this, and then let's pass in some data. Okay, so we will change this, but we'll send this something like, let's create a message, new. So I'll say new message here, and then I send So I'm sending back to all the clients an object. The key is message and the data is what the guy sent me.
What comes from the form?
Yeah, what comes from the form. So down here, here's the client. What if I have a function called, what's that? Maybe I can call the same thing, create message, okay? So actually, it's cooler, I believe. Okay, so I think you can do, how do I do this? This dot perform. So this is the object in, inside this is this message, okay? So that's this. Perform create message, and then I can pass in this data, okay? So let's see if I change a little bit, and then let's see if it works or not. I need to put a comma here. It's quite tricky in terms of syntax. So what if I say now, instead of going, I say create message, and then maybe I say body is, right? Do you guys receive an object?
Yes.
Okay. And so what if inside received now, inside received, what can you do? You guys just received the message.
Can
So
you write it to the server?
you can say, hey, I just received a message. So I just go to messages, jQuery. I prepend it with this content. So div class message, and maybe add data dot body. Okay. What do you think? Does it look okay?
Yeah.
So if you do this and I refresh the browser and I do this, hi guys, body here. Uh-oh. It will append it, but I think this data.body is not correct. Data.message.body, right? So for example, you can say if message is, yep, if message is data.message, like this. Let's try again. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm forgetting my JavaScript. This is bad. Okay. Hi guys, you see that? My new message. It just keeps happening. So how can I type something here and press create message and you guys can see it? Let's go to the view, room, show here. Remember the form? This form? I'm going to, this form, there's only this field, okay? I'm going to not create this form. I just comment it out. How do I remove this form?
Delete the
Right, perfect. So what if I don't have a form here, but I have a input, type text, and then name is this message body. Can be anything, right? That's it. And maybe placeholder is chat message. Like that. If I type anything here, now our chat will start working. Can we make it? So how do you, what's the action to do it? Yeah, so maybe you say on, on change. Input, well, technically you want Yeah, okay, so on change, function is what? Check, right? Check message. Okay, I call this check message. And where is this check message, guys? So remember in application.js, we require everything here. I'm just gonna put it in any of these JavaScript files. So I put it in maybe rooms.js, okay? So we have a function called check messages, yeah? So let's do that for now. Console, and then you can pass, it will pass in an event. So now what you're learning is just JavaScript handling with the content, right? With the code. So I go here. Uh-oh. Check messages is not run. It's not defined. Missing the S. Oh, so this extra S. Okay. And also remember, it on change, I have to click outside. That's not what I want. So it's not on change. What is it? So what if every time I type dun, 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 like that, you see the thing down here. So, and you can, if you want, if you pass in this event, okay, so on, you can pass in this like this. So this is how you learn just a little bit of JavaScript every day, right? It passes in this element. You see this guy, right? And then what can we do about it? What can we do about it? We have this function. We get, huh? So, well, there's something I don't like is I want to know what key the user is typing. If the user type enter, I submit. If not, doesn't matter. Right?
Yes.
So how can I make sure this is an event? So on key up, I'm not sure, huh? It runs this, really? Like, this is not right. So I don't remember how to run it as from an event standpoint. So I just set up here, message body like this. Okay, so notice the change. I keep the input like this. When is the rooms.js file run, guys? When you load the page, right? So I say, when you load the page, I say, hey, load the page. And after the page is finished loading, all right, what do you do inside here? I say, hey, if there's an element called message body up there, okay? You say, well, I'm gonna check for an event called key up, okay? And in this function, if there's a key up, then I'm gonna check it, just like what we just did, okay? So key up detected, or message changed, and then you can pass in this event, and we just look at the Rails console and see what it is. Right? You see this event? So you can click on it. You say original event, type key up, timestamp, etc. Click on it. What can we use? Do you see the code, guys? Key and key code, right? You can also see, current target is like the element it's clicked on. So what I can do is if event dot key code is enter sign, then you're just gonna say submitting, okay? And then you can also do, now this element is inside this message body. Be very careful with JavaScript. If you don't understand that this stuff, just read up. But here, that this belongs to this body here, not the one above. And remember, we can just set the value to be nothing. So let's say A, B, C, enter. Done. Submit. Okay? So what can we type in here? app dot messages dot create message. So we pass in a message,
Alright.
and then body is what? This dot val. Okay? Let's see. So I say 1. Alright. So it's submitting and it passed to you guys. Pass in a message, and then in there, in this message, there's a body. But why is it not working? Alright, so let's debug this, right? First, let's set this as a separate variable to make it easy to debug. So var data is that. Is that okay? Alright. And then you say create message, you pass data. You're submitting data. So you say submitting data, and then you do that. Okay. Let's see. And go back to our Rails server channel. When you receive this over here, you can say Rails logger.info, right? Create message, and you can pass in the data here, data.inspect. Okay? So let's look at the server here, and I run refresh. Oh, this is a lot to see. And I say, guys, you guys are all like checking the page. Stop. Okay. Hello. If I press hello, it's submitting this message hello. You guys are receiving it. I don't know why there's no hello in here, in our message here. Okay. Action. Oh,
It's
under message. Why? Right? Because up here, I'm the one who say message. You see this? Right? If I pass just data here, then it will work. But because I keep message here, so maybe down here, I'll just say send this body, yeah? Because, it's inside a create message. Why do I need to pass in the message again? So let's try this. What? Okay. So now it shows up on all your computer, right? So now we have real-time chat. So what's the problem? This is not good enough. It's so ugly.
We don't know who sent the message.
Okay, so how do we keep track of the username? Okay, what else? What else?
We delete the old one. I mean, not show the old one.
Not show the old one? What do you mean?
It's too long.
Huh?
There's a limit number of messages that we can see.
Well, it's all in here, but yeah, okay, but that's not related to this. Good idea though. Here I just display everything. I just show you guys the top ones. Anything else?
It's haven't saved in the database. So
Oh, that's one. Haven't saved in the database. Second, it looks ugly. Who is responsible for rendering the message? Huh? Rails or JavaScript? Up to whom? To us. So let's look at this, right? I'm sending, who's the guy rendering the message? It's under app JavaScript channel. This one here. Do you see this styling? That's quite ugly, huh? What if the server can send the HTML code already? That's one way. Depending on your app, if you write code that is a lot of client-side template, then you can render over here. You just need to get the JSON object, like data, body, something, username, something. Let's do it the simple way first. We already have the code how to render a message, right? Let's do that from the server and send it over. Okay? So it means down here, I just need to say data, receive data. I just maybe, if data dot message, then we just render that data, right? Oops. Instead of data dot message dot body, I will just do data dot message dot HTML maybe, yeah, or dot rendered. Okay, so this is the rendered attribute. Okay, so it means up here message data.message.rendered, it means I have to do rendered here, right? Message render. Yep, so this data thing. So I want this data to be rendered something. Yeah? And instead in here, I create message. So I'm going to call this message params. So this is easier to think now. It looks like a controller thing now, right? All right. What is in my message params? I will say a message is message dot create, maybe message dot new message params. Yeah. Message new message params like this. And then if I can save it, so you know, let's say create message here, message params. I can print this in the log. So you know, I'll show you how to read this in the log later. All right, I have this message. If I can save it, what do? I will render, right? This render thing. So I will render. How do I render a message? Yeah, how do you render a partial? Easy. Huh? So Rails 5 allow you to call this action controller dot render. There's no render. Not application controller. Is there a render method? Okay, render. So what if I render this partial message? Object, message, no, not object, locals, passing the local variables. Message is message, the last message. Uh-oh, it still doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't know where the partial is. Let's tell it where it is. Render partial in messages, view messages, message. It will find the underscore message file, right? I pass in the local variable. Enter. It will say missing. Oh, it cannot find that? Are we wrong? So it's quite easy to read, right? Message missing that. The format is with accept format HTML, etc. So let's look at the view messages. Oh, it's there. Why is it not working? So we go in, search for Rails application controller render. All right. Here, so Rails provide you this function. You can render outside view, and you can do application controller render, right? You can say partial. So why is it not working for us? Go back to the lab. I actually gave you guys this code last time, I think. Here. Hey, look, I wrote the same thing.
I don't think you wrote partial.
Uh-oh, did I write it wrong? I wrote partial here, right?
Oh, you did. Wait.
I think this, oh wait, look at that, it works. Compared to last time. Oh, I mistyped the word message. I wrote like massages. Oh my god. Okay, so you see, did you see this string, guys? That's pretty cool. So let's copy this. And one of the rule in writing code that's easy to read, go back to this guy, huh? I want to render the message here, but this is so hard to read. So I'm gonna call render message. Just a method somewhere, and I define that down here. render message. You pass in a message to me. I call this function for you like this. Yeah, and then I change this to message, not iMessage, right? And then so down here, up here looks good. This render message will call this guy. So it looks like, I have this data object I want to pass back. If I can save the message, then my data, I will pass in, maybe I just call like, I don't know, naming is hard, right? If not, maybe I just do content, huh? Rendered sounds a bit silly. HTML, whatever, just render that. And then if there's an error, maybe I can say HTML is, this is a bit silly, but maybe instead I would just say errors, whatever, right? Okay, so now you can pass this data back to all the client. You see what I'm doing with create message? So what is create message doing? It tried to create a new message, right? With the data stuff, and it tried to create a new message, and in here, in data, we have HTML. So this is only HTML. I should do something else. We can pass in more stuff later. So this is HTML. So it means data dot. I'm trying to like name it properly. HTML, just like that for now. So that's receiving. Creating. I need to give this guy the right format, right? By the way, one way to do that is, you see this log, there's so much stuff. I'm going to do one more. I will grab, I say tail log file, tail-f like that, and then I only grab the lines that say create message. Alright, so if I submit anything, it will say create message, it will pass me the param so I can see. Alright, where is the code that sent is in room, right? This one. Create message, passing in the data. What is my params? Body and username, right? So this is body is here. Username is, let's say for now, guest. Yeah? And I pass in this data. I look at this guy, like that. Alright, let's load this. Okay, create message. Send message params as body, hello, username, guest. Yeah? Okay. And then, could not execute command message. What is the error here? Unknown attribute action. Okay, let's look at this guy. I have message.new. Let's look at this guy. Create message. Go down here. Where's the line? Data is body and username. Action create. So when this guy send message params, it sent a lot more. You see this? It sent body, it sent username, and then it sent this action thing. So send extra stuff. So I only need this is a hash. So I only need body and username. It just sent one extra thing. You see this? That's the inspect line, right? So I don't need this guy. So technically this is a string, so I keep these two key. This is a hash, okay? The long way is to do, body colon message param, open body, username. All right, this is the long way. Body, message params, body, right, etc. So, but I want the short way, which is just these things. Does it make sense? In the controller, we do something similar. We did controller. We do this permit, but message params in controller is smart enough. It removes all the other things like well, we tell it, right, hey, keep only these two things, but your whole params here keep, there's an action and there's a controller as well if you look into the log. All right, let's try again. Okay, you guys are already trying. So transmitting, okay, let's say, hey, right, so what's the error? Room must exist in my message. Oh, okay, let's always give it room 10. All right, you guys can try again. What happened? It sent this. Can I create it? I go to Rails console. I check if I was able to create that. Yeah. Rails console. Message.last. Guest and browse. So that works, right? Oh, so can you type something else? Okay. You see the rendering worked now, right? How do we get the current user? That's the next thing to do, right? And I actually show you that in the notes. To do that, we consider something called connection over here. Where's my connection? Server side connection. Okay. Connection deal with this. So your connection is like your application controller. And all the channels are like, messages channel is the same as similar to messages controller. Look at this channels folder. There's a channel and there's a connection. Funny, we don't put the stuff in this channel very much. We put it in connection here. And then any similar to controller, any channel just inherit from the application channel, but each one of them has a variable called, has a connection, this one. So just accept that we set up the user stuff in here. So how do I do it? There's a syntax, identify by user. So just create, so this is the variable it's going to use. Whenever a channel is established, connect is run to create. So I do this. I get stuff from the cookies. You're like, what is cookie? And then I find out the username from there, and I pass that into the current user thing. So the stuff is very similar to your current user method in controller, right? Except I'm using cookie, not session. So when you sign in now, look at these guys, cookies. So HTTP and client. The client saves data in the browser cookies, right? It encrypts that. There's a code on server say, hey, encrypt this cookie for me, and send back to the server. And server can decrypt it, but server can save it in a session. And then why is it session? Server would say, hey, I decrypt the cookies. I have stuff in session. Where do you want to store the session? In some Rails app, the session is stored in the memory for server. Some, that's not scalable, right? That's like, how do you store in the memory? Some store it outside. Let's say you can store it in a file, or you can store it in the database. So some Rails app you may work in some company, there's a database table called sessions. and then that table becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. You're supposed to write a cron job that actually clear that table, truncate that table every month or something. But it's very scalable. It's nice. You can save things in there. But it's all encrypted data, you know. So Rails has code to decrypt that. So that's HTTP. WebSocket, you don't have session. Very lightweight. Controller, it's not controller, it's channel. Channel is not as smart. So we just have cookies. So raw cookies from that. And you can decrypt a little bit. So we change our code to save everything in a cookie format. And then now the HTTP and the WebSocket stuff can share the logic. So you just change, instead of session, you change it to cookies.signed. Okay? There's some other usage like cookies.encrypted and cookie.signed. But just keep one here. I just follow the Rails the Rails guide. So when you log in, HTTP, it save it to cookie signed like this. When you trigger any WebSocket connection, it will do this over here. Let me show you something cool. If the cookie finds a user, right? This is current user. If it cannot find, you can reject. It means not everyone can connect over WebSocket. So what if I go to the browser? This one, do you see? I see login to C. Technically, I cannot display to you. Like, look, you see disconnected instead of connected? It tried to connect, but then it disconnect because it's not authorized. And if you go to the Rails server log, you will see it. That is, unauthorized connection was rejected. Okay? All right, so with that, we know we have something called current user already. So in our messages channel, you can just say current user dot username, right? But, you know, yeah? And there's always current user. Because if you're not signed in, then you cannot get here. You cannot send this message. So that's okay. In some cases, you say try because, if current user is nil, then return nil. If it's not nil, then do dot username on it. In this case, I know it's always on. So I need to save message. Okay, let's try. So who wanna try it next? I go to this public room. I think there's a username is. Oh, I'm not logged in. Oh, so T-lock. So now that works, right? So we finished implementing, the username, the timestamp, all of that works. What is the, did we finish what you say? So we create and we display properly. Okay? So let's take a break. But think about what we're doing and how can we improve to make it better.
So if we save to the database, is that called two-way binding? We just created it from scratch?
To create what from scratch?
Like if we save this log, basically, to the database from the subscription, like posting it each time, is that the same thing as like what all these frameworks do with two-way binding?
No, two-way binding, technically two-way binding on the client side is like, if you have some text here, and then if I just say A equals, hello, and then the word up here will be hello, then that's two-way binding.
Okay.
It's just rendering, based on some variable. If the variable changes, then the display will change. It's simpler
So
than
it
that. It has nothing to do with the
It has nothing to do with the server?
connection stuff. So two-way binding with the server is just it hook up. Let's say this similar to Active Record, but you have something that's an object here, and it synchronizes with the server. So it will be more like than two-way binding. It's more like three-way binding, right? You write make some changes to the text box, the value from the text box is bound, right, to the variable.
object in the browser.
And then the variable can also decide to save to the database.
Okay.
So then just like go from A to B to C, and then it could go from C to B to A. But technically, two-way binding just mean that if the variable of the text box or div or anything, the content changes, then the variable immediately changes.
Okay.
And in the new browser,
rather than having like a list.
Nowadays they have something called mutable observation. So it can actually detect if a text box changed and all of that. So all this extra code that React and other libraries are using, Angular, in the future, the browser already has that. So it's a lot even
cool.
faster.
Who showed me?
I'm like